Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Juice Baseball channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Toronto Blue Jays Legends Fantasy Draft Series here on MLB The Show 24. In the last episode, it was the entirety of the postseason, and if you take a look at your screens, front and center, your Toronto Blue Jays are the World Series champions. Taking on, funny enough, I didn't even clock this in the actual episode, the team that we did our Legend Series with last season on MLB The Show 23, the New York Mets. I think that's pretty poetic for our first championship of the series here in year number 2 to be against the team that we were with last year and the last team that we won a World Series with in a Legend Series. That's pretty poetic. So I don't know how I didn't even clock that while we were in the episode, but now that I've had time to edit the video and actually pay attention, I realized that, and I was like, oh man, I'm so stupid for not even bringing that. That would have been such a good talking point in the World Series portion of the episode. I can't believe I missed out on that because I just didn't realize that it was what was going on, but now I have the time to actually talk about it because that's pretty cool. The team that we won, had many, 3 or 4 titles with the Mets? I think we won 3, maybe 4 championships with the New York Mets last year on MLB The Show 23. That was the last team we won titles with in a Legend Series. And now the first title we win in a Legend Series this year is against the team passing the torch. I think that's pretty cool. So couldn't have asked for a better ending to our first championship win. And as I mentioned, it is our first. Year number 2. I told you last year that I would vow not to have a season like the first year ever again. We went 70-92. We then turned it around, signed so many free agents, and won 30 extra games this year, and then obviously en route to a World Series title. If you want to see the stats for the regular season, go back and watch the last episode before the postseason episode, so 2 episodes ago. If you want to see the results for the postseason and all that kind of good stuff, go watch, obviously, the postseason episode. All that was covered in those 2 episodes. Now it's time to get to the year 2 offseason, which could be even more important than the year 1 offseason. Now, you could argue which one's more important because the year 1 offseason led us to winning a championship, but now the year 2 offseason may lead us to defending that and going back to back. So you could argue which one is more important. But let's get started with it. Yes, we're going to advance. All the postseason stats are done. We need to get a new first base coach because Mark Budzinski has retired. So he goes off and wins a championship and then retires. So good for him. And then we need to do our farm director as well. So our retired players, Bumgarner, Scherzer, and Strasburg. Unfortunately, I can't lower the ages of players. I can just make them better. So I couldn't lower the ages. I would have lowered all these guys' ages so they wouldn't retire, but unfortunately I can't do that in MLB The Show. So these guys just retire, which kind of sucks because I wanted to pitch with Strasburg a little bit more, but it is what it is. Yu Darvish retires. Anybody else of note that retires? We shouldn't see any of the legends on here. We should just see some of the real-life people. Jake Odorizzi, Julio Teheran. Anybody else? Tucker Barnhart, former Cincinnati Red. Ronel Blanco, I think he's the guy that threw the no-hitter this year in real life, I'm pretty sure, for the Astros. Jackie Bradley and Jeffrey Bradley, that's pretty funny. Let's see, anybody else? Mark Canha, Luis Castillo. Oh, that's not I was going to say, that's not the right Luis Castillo. That's the other Luis Castillo. Patrick Corbin does retire. Who else? Edwin Diaz, third baseman, not Edwin Diaz, the closing pitcher. So a lot of a lot of the familiar names, just not the same player that we're thinking of. And there's Zach Greinke. Greinke! So a lot of the pitchers have retired. That's okay. Scherzer makes the Hall of Fame. Strasburg, you could argue Strasburg could make the Hall of Fame because when Strasburg was healthy, he was certainly one of the best pitchers in baseball. And he's got a title because he was on that 2019 team that won. So I feel like Strasburg, you could make the argument that Strasburg, maybe not a first ballot, but Strasburg, certainly you can make the argument he makes the Hall of Fame. Scherzer, obviously, one of the best pitchers of modern day, certainly makes the Hall of Fame. And Bumgarner, you can make the argument Bumgarner, maybe just solely on his postseason resume, you can make the argument he's a Hall of Famer. Because when he was winning those 3 titles in the 2010s, he was one of the best pitchers of all time in the postseason. So you could make the argument for all 3 of those guys. The only exclusive free agent we have is Jose Abreu. We will go and probably bring him back, as we probably should. And I have not done the overall thing yet for some of the older real life guys. I will go and do that after this episode, so don't worry about that. Next episode, the start of opening day year 3, all those old guys for other teams that are real life old guys that are still playing in the league. I don't know how many there are, but I'll go and find them, and they will all be better, just like our guys are, like Jose Abreu, like Strasburg, all the pitchers that just retired, all those guys, like Panda, wherever he's at, Pablo Sandoval, we made him better. So I will go through the rest of the league and do that, but I was waiting for the offseason to do it, and I forgot. Most of the time. Okay, so we are going to keep AJ Hinch around. He is just coming off of a World Series. It'd be kind of crazy to fire him. So let's just get our new first base coach, because we need to replace the man that retired. And do we really care about -2 blocking? That doesn't really matter too much, but I would prefer to have a guy that doesn't have any negatives. And this guy's only 41, Ray Diaz, but he doesn't really give us anything that amazing. +2 speed is cool, but I don't know. I feel like we need to go for somebody that gives us a little bit better attributes. Maybe Joey Corbett. He's 60. Brian Sweeney kind of does similar stuff to what we just looked at. You know what? Let's go for that Ray Diaz guy. He's 41. He doesn't give us any negative attributes, and he gives us +2 speed. Maybe that'll help us in the long run. Who knows? So we'll give him a 4-year deal, $4.5 million. He should accept that, and then we have to go get a new farm director. Alex Morales at 61. He's the best one on the list, and he gives us +3 clutch. Ooh, that might be actually really, really good. I'm going to give this man even bigger of a contract, because +3 clutch might be super useful. So Alex Morales could be really, really big for us. But that is all the offers we need to make, because those are the only 2 open holes, and I'm not going to fire anybody else here, mainly because none of them give us negatives. We did a pretty good job. I think we'd signed all these guys last year, and all these guys give us pretty good boost, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's keep moving on. Let's get to that exclusive free agency where we can make our offer on Jose Abreu. 2-year, $9 million deal. He'll probably retire pretty soon anyway, so we'll just give him that contract. He'll probably accept it. Let's get to free agency, though. We have Alex. Yes, that was the big one that I wanted. We get that +3 clutch. That's going to be really, really big. And Ray Diaz accepted the contract, so both our coaches' positions are filled. That is beautiful. And a big trade the first big trade of the offseason. Brian Abreu goes to the Angels from the Mets for Alex Gordon, who I will adjust, don't worry. So the Mets get a really big addition. And Mitch Jebb, who's a young prospect. Okay, first big trade of the offseason is underway, and it looks like Jose Abreu did accept his contract. So coaching staff all figured out. We're not going to rebrand the team. Exclusive free agency is all done. Let's open up actual free agency here. We've got arbitration. Actually, nobody in arbitration. That's usually... actually, it's not as weird when you're doing a Legends series. That it would be super weird if there was nobody in arbitration for a regular rebuild, but it's not as weird for a Legends series. We've got tender contracts that we'll take care of off camera, and then actual free agency. Who's here? You've got Joe DiMaggio, Bryce Harper, Cy Young, Kutch. You've got Raleigh Fingers, Nomar Garcia Pollard, Vladdy Jr. Okay, we've got some options. We have younger Willie Mays. We've got some absolute options here in free agency. I like what I see. But we have to figure out, do we even need to go after anybody? Now remember, salary cap does not matter in a series like this, so we can spend whatever and wherever we want to do it. And if you remember from the last episode that we did the draft on last year, we only had the 1 draft pick, the 1 first-round pick. So it's not like we're afraid to sign guys that are all restricted up and all these qualified offers made and stuff, and we have to forfeit a draft pick. We don't care about that. That is all good for me. I mean, we did sign the best player in the draft last episode, or last draft. I don't even know what position he was. Oh, what position was the big dog? What was he? I forget what he freaking was. He's probably here. Is it him? Tyson Kincaid? I don't remember. No, I think he was a pitcher. Was he not a pitcher? Was it? Oh, what the heck was his name? I completely forget. I have to go back and watch that. Oh, it was Julian German. That's what it is. I should have just looked. It was Julian German. This man might be in the big league roster in year one. He looks unreal. This is one of the best prospects I've ever drafted just in general in all of my series. That's pretty crazy. So we did draft him. He's pretty freaking amazing. I think he has 99 potential, if I'm not mistaken, or close to it. Attributes. Yeah, he has 99 potential. That man is a stud. Absolute stud. He's going to be so good. And I just sucks that he's in this series and not in like the Padres series, because if he was in that series, I'd be over the moon. I'd be over Mars. That's how excited I'd be. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at this roster and see if there's any room for improvement. Now, obviously, this team is fantastic. There's not really any room for improvement. But there's always room for improvement. Like Carlos Beltran. In the postseason, he kind of struggled. Now, in the regular season, he played pretty well. He hit the ball very well, slugging .517. Not as good as he did in year one with the Cardinals in terms of just pure slugging, but he did play pretty well in the regular season. In the postseason, kind of struggled. And there is Joe DiMaggio in free agency. And the other guy would be Tony Gwynn. Not because Tony Gwynn played bad. Tony Gwynn played really, really well this year. Really, really well. And he even averaged over 300 like he usually does. But Bryce Harper's there. And Bryce Harper could be pretty fun. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. Now, we do have Jackie Robinson at second base. I don't know if there's a better second baseman out there. No, there's nobody better than a 94 that plays the second base position in this year's free agent class. Pitching-wise, do we need to go after a Cy Young type? We have, I like this pitcher rotation. We gave Randy Johnson a shot this year, and he definitely turned it around. We do have the defending Cy Young winner in Jose Fernandez, so I think I'm going to stick with this pitcher rotation and this we probably need to get rid of Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige was getting destroyed because he's a 64 overall. So the first thing we can do is focus on the bullpen, but there's not really any Hall of Fame bullpen pieces available. The only one would be Raleigh Fingers. So maybe we go after Raleigh and then just have him as a relief pitcher. Because what we could do is we could move one of these two guys, Goose or Felix Bautista, up to middle relief. It'd be kind of weird since they're not really a middle relief type of pitcher. But we could move one of them to middle relief, probably Felix Bautista, because he really struggled this year. So maybe Felix moves up to middle relief to replace Satchel Paige, and then we bring in a guy like Raleigh Fingers. That could be the idea. That could be a pretty good one. I'll throw an offer at Raleigh. We'll see what he says. Oh, he likes a 3-year deal. We'll give him up to $12 million. We'll make it $12 million. That puts us ahead of the Mariners, so hopefully Raleigh accepts that. Fresh Prince, Will Smith. Unfortunately, I'd like to bring him in, but unfortunately he's not a higher overall than any of the catchers that we have already, so it'd just be a waste. First base, we're pretty good at. Rafael Palmeiro could be interesting, but not really like a guy that we need to absolutely go after. Goldschmidt's another one of those guys that I will adjust, so whatever team he ends up signing with, we will fix him. Second base, like I said, there's no second baseman better than what we have with Jackie Robinson, so we'll keep him. Third base, we'll keep because none of these guys are better than what we have. Shortstop, Nomar Garcia-Parra could be pretty fun, but we already have a 99 at shortstop, right? Yeah, we have Cal Ripken Jr., who dominated the postseason. Cal Ripken Jr. was unbelievable. If I'm not mistaken, he won playoff MVP, right? Oh, I can't see that just yet. I'm pretty sure he won the playoff MVP because he was just so good for like no reason. Like he was hitting home run after home run in the postseason. So I'm excited about having Cal Ripken on the team. And we don't really need to replace him. So shortstop, even with who's on our bench? I know we have Elliot de la Cruz. We have Josh Gibson. We have Giancarlo Stanton, Dustin Pedroia, Torrey Hunter, De La Cruz, and David Ortiz. I guess we could replace Dustin Pedroia, move him down to the minor leagues. Does he have any options? Does Dustin Pedroia have any options left? He has 2 options. So we could put him down in AAA and then bring in who was it? Nomar Garcia-Parra, and he could fill that second. Actually, he can't because he can't play second base. I could have sworn that he played second base at one point. There's the younger Jackie Robinson. The other one, not the one that we have, obviously. Honus Wagner. Hannes. He can't play second base either. So maybe that whole idea is just scrapped because nobody else can play second base. I mean, Ellie can play second base. But last year, if you remember, we had like the craziest streak of injuries where who got injured? George Brett got injured first, so we had to play somebody at third base, which we put Ellie de la Cruz at, and then Ellie de la Cruz got hurt, so we had to play Dustin Pedroia at third base. So we had a crazy, weird run of like 3 injuries in a row at the same position. And unfortunately, Edgar Martinez, I don't really want at third base this year, or as a backup. I kind of want Nomar Garcia Parra, but he doesn't. He only plays first base and shortstop. I mean, maybe he could play. I guess I could Google. Did Nomar Garcia Parra ever play any other positions? Nomar Garcia Parra positions. It says he's just an infielder, which is obvious. Best known for playing shortstop. Did he play any other positions? Give me a little thread of hope. Give me a little thread of hope. Did he ever play any other position so I can so I can give him another position? I don't know. Baseball Reference, what do you got for me? Shortstop, first base, and third base. This has him playing third base. Perfect. Because that's the position that George Brett got hurt with. So Baseball Reference, thank you very much for coming in the clutch there. I will go and add his third base to his resume, or to his skills, and we will offer Nomar Garcia Parra a contract. We'll lower it to 4 years, and we will bring him in probably for just a clean $100 million. Why not? Why not just bring him in for a clean $100 million? That's obviously way better than the offer that the Brewers were giving him. And then, what else can we do? I kind of want to make a big splash with one of these center fielders, but we just don't need it. We just don't need it. But maybe DiMaggio is the better option because we know how big of a issue Carlos Beltran was in the playoffs. He really struggled for some reason, and DiMaggio could be that change. But Bryce Harper could also be that change. I kind of want Bryce Harper. I know we had him in the series last year with the Mets. We had both versions of Bryce Harper, actually, funny enough. But I kind of want Bryce Harper, especially the young version, the 24-year-old prime stud Bryce Harper. I kind of want that. Yeah, we're going to lose a bunch of draft picks. I don't care about draft picks. So I'm going to offer Bryce Harper. But do I offer one of these two guys? DiMaggio or McCutchen? If anything, I could offer one of these guys and then trade them at the deadline for a high overall second baseman. That could be a possibility. Not that I don't like Jackie. Jackie is pretty good. But just on pure 99 overall, going for a complete 99 overall team, we could do that, offer one of these guys or somebody else, and then are we able to get a higher overall player, second baseman? I'll offer Kutch as well. I doubt that we get Kutch. But, well, actually, we might get Kutch more than we get DiMaggio. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But those, I'm pretty sure, are going to be all of my signings for this season. It's not as crazy as it was last year. It's still crazy because of the people that we're bringing in, or possibly bringing in, but it's not as crazy as it was last year because we basically rebuilt the entire team in one offseason. So that last year's was pretty crazy. But if we could, I mean, since we don't need any starting pitching, the real big ones that I want to get are Bryce Harper and Raleigh Fingers. Those are the two that I absolutely really want to get. Nomar Garcia Parra would be cool because then we can have at least a third base option. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's simulate a little bit into free agency. And there it is. The first domino falls. It's Raleigh Fingers. Perfect. That's who I wanted. Perfect. Simulate a couple more days. Nothing's happening. Oh, man. We're waiting a long time. We are waiting a long time for some of these free agents to sign. It looks like we're all good still. We're at the top of everybody's list. I do need to make sure I don't go off book here with too many players. So we probably need to cut bait with a couple of guys. Just to be on the safe side. So let's release that guy. Let's release this Bobby Beatty guy. Let's release this dude. Just to be on the safe side. We can always go back and replace those guys with other bums if we need to. We'll also release this guy. Okay, perfect. So now I don't want to run out of room on the roster. But now that we signed Raleigh Fingers, he now comes here. We can probably switch that with Felix Bautista. We could probably just cut bait with Satchel Paige because he's just not good anymore. He's a 64 overall at 60 years old. So at the least, we could probably just move him down to AAA. Let's just do that. We'll keep him on the roster, unless he gets claimed, I guess. We'll keep on there. I also make Ronald Chapman a little bit better. Don't worry about that. We'll keep him on the roster, but we'll just keep him on AAA because he's just bad. So that's the solution. Zach Gallen signed with the Marlins. Okay, another big deal. And the other Bryce Harper, the older one, current day Bryce Harper, he gets traded from the Nationals, funny, to the Mets for Buck Leonard and Josiah Gray. Wow. Very weird. Cardinals claim Jeff Criswell. Good luck. Have your fun with Jeff Criswell and Bobby Beatty. You can claim. I don't freaking care. Claim whoever you want. The Phillies trade Rod Carew to the Red Sox for Yelich and Triantos. James Triantos. Weird. But whatever. Some very interesting additions and trades. But still, these guys are yet to sign. Please accept my offers. I'm begging you. Bryce Harper, the young Bryce Harper, has made it to Toronto. Teoscar Hernandez signs with the Red Sox. Joe DiMaggio is coming to the Blue Jays. So we got everybody except for Garcia Parra. No more Elwin Kutch, but I don't really care about Kutch. He's just like trade piece for the most part. Let's see if we can actually get those guys, though. Rule 5 draft. Okay, perfect. I will go and do these tender contracts. Don't worry. Rule 5 draft. I probably should have to do the... I'll probably do it right now. So let's get rid of this transaction thing. All right. 40-man roster. Do I have everybody on it that I want? So Satchel Paige didn't get claimed, obviously. Wouldn't have mattered if he did. I need to make sure that our big dog is on here. Where's he at? Julian German, you need to be on the 40-man roster. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We can't put him on there. So we need to take off somebody. Let's take off... preferably not somebody that's a top 50 prospect. Let's take off... Brandon. Let's take off Brandon. He's never going to play anyway for us. Perfect. So let's put Julian on the 40-man roster. Oh, we still have a big 40-man roster. Okay, perfect. We can take more guys off. Don't worry. We'll take off Parker Meadows. Parker Meadows. We'll take off George Springer. That leaves us with 28 plus 11. Quick math. Still too many. We will take off probably some of these guys, right? Take off Satchel Paige. Take off Satchel. That leaves us with 38. Perfect. Perfect 38. 38 players. Which allows German to get added to make it 39. So he is now added to the 40-man roster. That absolutely had to happen because if he got taken in the Rule 5 draft, I would have been heated. So 39 people on the 40-man roster. Is there anybody else that I want on the 40-man? Any other pitchers? Probably not. No. Relief pitchers? No. I've got all the guys I want on the 40-man. Kenley Jansen, whatever. Catchers, we've got everybody that I want on here, right? Yeah. And then first base, we've got Jose Abreu's not on there. Does Jose Abreu get taken? He might actually. I mean, 86 overall, he might get taken. Maybe we have to switch that. But everybody else, Pedroia, third base, everybody, yes. Shortstops, yep. Left field, yep. Center field, yep. And then right field. Okay, so everybody that I want is on except for the possibility of Jose Abreu. So you know what? Let's take Joey Votto off and then put Jose Abreu on, and that'll leave us still with 39. But now we can add Nomar Garciaparra, because he's the last one left, right? Free agency. Oh, it's Kutch, too. Okay, we'll figure out what we want to do with that. We'll probably just trade one of them. Okay, so now I'm going to go and do tender contracts. It shouldn't be taking me too long. It's not that many people. We'll go and tender all these contracts, mainly for depth reasons. So let's go and do that, and I'll catch you guys when I got that all wrapped up. Okay, so I just got done doing all that. Didn't take very long at all. We've tendered all the contracts, offered all the contracts we need to do. Let's continue moving on. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, is headed to Atlanta. Okay. The Cubs claimed Brandon Lowe off of waivers. Have your fun with Brandon Lowe, Cubbies. I don't care. George Springer has cleared waivers. And Parker Meadows got claimed. That one kind of... Why are the Cubs just lurking on the waiver wire, claiming all my guys? That one kind of hurts. Parker Meadows is a nice young prospect, but that's okay. He's never going to make the team anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. The last day for arbitration, we got all that done. Yep, no arbitration players. Only 2 guys left to sign 10-year contracts. Let's keep moving on. And I was about to say, Nomar Garciaparra and McCutchen still have not signed, but there it is. Garciaparra, the final guy that I actually did want, is now signed with us. And that is a full roster of players. Not as crazy as it once was, but still pretty crazy. And we need to fix this lineup now, or fix this roster now, because we have too many players. I think the best idea is to cut bait with, or not cut bait with, but send somebody down to AAA like Dustin Pedroia, mainly because we have Elliot De Cruz and now Nomar Garciaparra, so we don't really need Pedroia. And if we do, if somebody gets hurt, then we'll just bring him back up. So, boom. Pedroia goes down, and I need to, before I forget, edit player, general. I need to go to his primary position, secondary position, first base, and third base is the mixture that we need to add. Finish. Nope. Finish. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So Garciaparra can now play first and third base, like it said that he could. I did my research. Baseball Reference. Thank you very much. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's keep going. If McCutchen signs, I guess that's cool. But Blake Snell signs back with the Rays. That's funny. Framber Valdez going to Kansas City. Chris Paddock goes to the Astros. Some weird additions. I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is still available. Yandy Diaz gets traded from the Angels to the Padres for a package of players. Rob Nen, Gavin Stone, and Luis Guanipa. That's the fun. It's like a veteran. It's a guy that's in his quote-unquote prime, even though he's a 71 overall, and then it's a prospect. So you get all 3 variations, all 3 levels. Seiya Suzuki traded from the Twins to the Braves for Brian Pena and Drew Bain. Very cool. Brandon Woodruff goes to the Red Sox. Baseball winter meetings are done, and here is the draft lottery. Obviously, we have the final pick because we won the freaking World Series. But this is big for all the other teams who care about that. It was big for us last year. It gave us, what, the 3rd pick or something like that last year? It's going to be the Cardinals jumping up 4 spots. Only a 10% odds for the number 1 pick, and they jump up 4 spots to get the number 1 overall pick. The Dodgers go to 2. Very upsetting, but good all around. Let's keep moving on. And McCutchen does officially sign with us. Willie Stargell goes to the Tigers. All right, so now that we have McCutchen, we have too many players on the roster and too many players on the 40-man, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, we have too many people on the 40-man roster. So now what we could possibly do is send McCutchen. Oh, I can't trade him. That's right. Send Torrey Hunter for a second baseman and then just keep McCutchen around. So what kind of second baseman can I grab? Pete Rose? I know he's not a second baseman, but Pete Rose? Possibly? I don't know. Let's go around the league. Alfonso Soriano. I get Alfonso Soriano every single year. I love him so. He's just such a good player for me. I love Alfonso, but I can't get him this year. We got to spread our wings, go for somebody new like Ryan Sandberg. I never go for him. Bill Mazeroski. I kind of want to stick with legendary players because that's the whole point. So there's not many legendary second basemen that I want, though. Brian Roberts is weird. I don't really want that. Joe Morgan. I mean, obviously, Joe Morgan would be pretty cool, and he wouldn't be that difficult to get. That's not that hard, especially with Torrey Hunter. That's not that bad of a deal. Chase Utley we've had before. I mean, we've had Joe Morgan as well. Ian Kinsler we had before. And then Brian Dozier is the only other guy. He just retired recently. How is he already a legend? He just retired in 2020. Or I guess 2019 was his last full year. Weird. Weird. Okay. I don't want him, though. Craig Biggio. Do I want Craig Biggio? I mean, Cavan is his son. Do we want to go for the dad? Do we want to go for the dad? Ooh. That's actually viable. Okay, so we wouldn't have to give up really that much at all to get Craig Biggio. So do I want Craig Biggio? Carlos Doga. Oh, I'm at first base. Why am I at first base? I need to be at second base. Craig Biggio would be easy to get. The only other guy that I want to get that would be a guy that we haven't had before, or at least haven't had that often, is Joe Morgan. But Joe Morgan's going to cost a little bit more for obvious reasons. If I were to toss in George Springer, that helps a little bit. What about if I were to toss in, not Julian German, what about if I was to toss in a guy like, I don't know, maybe Joe Savato? This would work. We would send these guys to the Pirates, bring back Joe Morgan. He's a 99 overall. If I did this with Biggio, where's Biggio at? Biggio is a 95, so he's only one more overall higher than freaking, what's-his-face? Jackie Robinson. And we're trying to go for an all-99 club. And there's only one all-99, and that is Mr. Joe Morgan. So it looks like Joe Savato, I know you still bang, but you are headed to the Steel City. And we acquired Joe Morgan. Bada boom. A full 99, right? Or maybe we have a 98 in there. Do we have a full 99? Oh, we have a couple 98s. We have a couple 98s, but we are very, very close. Actually, we shouldn't because we can move Harper to starting second base. Where is freaking... There he is. I was looking right over him. And then we switch Bryce Harper in for Tony Gwynn. And boom, we have 198 remaining. That's a third baseman, but yet we have a close to 90, perfect 99 overall team right here. This is pretty awesome. But we do have one extra player on the team that we shouldn't have, so we need to look at this roster and figure out. It's probably got to be a hitter, right? Because our bullpen's pretty much locked up. So it's got to be some sort of hitter. But who that hitter is, I don't know. Maybe Stanton? Does he have any options? He doesn't have any options. Does somebody claim Giancarlo? I mean, it's possible. Somebody might claim Giancarlo, but I guess it's okay. Giancarlo, head down to AAA for a big dog assignment. Blue Jays have too many people in the 40-man. We knew that was going to be the problem because we got McCutchen now. Let's see. We probably got to take one of these top 50 prospects off because none of these guys are theoretically ever going to make an impact, especially one of these position players. Takeo Roby could, I guess, in theory, if he develops, could make an impact on the roster. But one of these guys, they're certainly never going to make, especially Jace Young. So let's remove him from the 40-man. He probably gets grabbed, but that's okay. And the Guardians are offering me a trade. Oh, wow, they're putting a package together. Okay. They want to give me Orlando Arcia, who is a fine player, but in a Legend Series, we can do a lot better. And they want to take 3 scrubby guys? I mean, does this really matter? They want Michael Darrell Hicks. They want Ryan Ward. And they want Casey Schmidt. I mean, all this does is just get rid of depth for our guys. I mean, it doesn't really do anything other than that. And it gives us a shortstop in a position that is one of our most deep. So I would do this because it's just giving us like a bunch of bums. They're giving back a bunch of bums. Like, we're getting Arcia and they're getting a bunch of bums. But, I mean, I'm not going to do it simply for the fact that we lose depth at certain positions. Stanton has cleared waivers. Perfect. That's what I was a little bit worried about. The Rule 5 draft, Miguel Amaya got taken. He was on our team. So that's one guy gone from our team. But I think that's going to be everybody because I would highly doubt that anybody else gets taken. Yeah, so Miguel Amaya is the only guy that got grabbed from our squad. Michael King signed a deal with the Dodgers. Vladdy Jr. is still out there. Willie Adames goes to the Yankees. And we are into January. So Justin Morneau headed to the Cardinals on a 5-year deal. Mark Burley going to the Cubs on a 1-year deal. They must not believe in him that much. Pete Alonso, the Polar Bear, headed to the Pirates. And Dustin May going to the Reds. That sounds familiar. If you know, you know. And I'm pretty sure Big Dog, yeah, Vladdy's still there. A lot of interesting players are still here. He's battling through a couple interesting offers. He's not super interested in any of those deals. Palmeiro has no offers. We're not going to go for anybody. Hannes. He's got no offers either. Edgar Martinez finally picks up a deal with the Rays. Tommy Edman goes to the Cubs. Cubs have been busy. Tim Salmon goes to the Cardinals. Steve Finley going to the Royals. Willie Mays signs to the Brewers. Palmeiro goes to the Royals. And Honus goes to the... So the Royals are super busy. The other Jackie Robinson headed to the Angels. Lane Thomas going to the Mets. And Vladdy finally chose the Rangers. There we go. So all of those big deals are off the... or all of those big players are off the table now. And look at this. We almost have a first in every single position. Third base is the only thing that we don't have a top 5 in. We need to change that too. And we are about to be into spring training. So off-season over with. Another successful off-season. We spent some money. Didn't change for once. I think this might be the first time ever I didn't change the pitcher rotation. It's the same starting 5 we had in the end of last episode. That's pretty weird. I don't usually do that. We added Raleigh Fingers in the bullpen, and then obviously you know what we did in the lineup, adding in Bryce Harper, adding in Joe Morgan, adding in Joe DiMaggio, McCutchen, Nomar Garcia-Parra. So we add some good depth to the bench, and we add some more 99s, Morgan and Harper, to the squad. I will figure out what I want to do with the lineup because I don't think I want Bryce Harper hitting 8th. Maybe I could move Beltran down a little bit more. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. And the one loan addition that I am looking to grab at some point is that man himself, that bad man, Barry Bonds. I know we get Barry Bonds every single Legend series, but he's Barry Bonds. I love hitting with Barry Bonds. So we got to have him at some point. It's just tradition at this point. It's just tradition. So here it is. Spring training has arrived. Year number 3 is about to be underway. In the next episode, we will do opening day. I cannot wait. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.